let's practice Virasana, hero pose. If you have a history of knee pain, knee replacement, ACL, MCL tear, any sort of procedure that's been done on your knees, or just general knee pain, be very mindful in this pose as it puts a lot of strain on the knees. And if there is any pain whatsoever in this pose, come out of it, find an adjustment that helps the pain to go away. It should be performed pain-free. No pain, no gain does not apply in yoga, especially in this pose where you could actually do damage to the knees if you push through pain in this pose. So please be mindful. Begin with a block, handy, and from hands and knees here, we'll draw the knees together so that the inner knees touch. The feet can be slightly wider than hip distance apart. And here, take your block behind you between the ankles, flatten the feet to the floor, and slowly lower the sit bones down onto the block. Now here's the place where you need to be very mindful of the knees. If you have pain at any point before your sit bones hit the block, that indicates that you need a little more height. So for some of us, a blanket will suffice. Some of us might need 2 blocks here, or a pillow or a blanket, whatever you have. Even big textbooks can work well as blocks. Okay. I'm going to use 1 block to demonstrate first. So you'll sit back onto the block. The knees are still touching. The feet can be a little wider than hip wide apart. And if you have sort of a fleshier legs here, you may choose to help situate your flesh in a way that makes this pose more accessible and comfortable. So to situate the flesh of the calf muscles, place your hands on your calves with the fingers pointing out away from your body, and roll the calves out away from your body as you sit back and down. And for me, that makes this pose a lot more comfortable. You can also draw the front of the knee flesh forward slightly, and then the flesh of the sit bones, or around the sit bones, the buttock flesh, to each side, so that you can feel your sit bones rooting down into your block. From here, hands can go onto the tops of the thighs, or situated in the lap. So rooting equally through both sit bones. You may notice that one feels lighter or heavier than the other. So mindfully draw your awareness to create balance in the sit bones. Also, create balance front and back. So some of us have a tendency to sit with an overarched spine, and others sit with a hunched spine here. If your spine is hunched in this pose and it's challenging for you to draw the tops of the hips forward, you may try to use an extra block. If you have an overarched spine, think about lengthening the tailbone down into your block, into the earth, to find a neutral spine. If you're like me, you tend to sit with your head forward, and this comes from our sort of habitual patterns in life. So draw the chest up, draw the shoulders back, and also draw the head back so that the ears are stacked above the shoulders. Virasana is a great pose to start your practice with a practice of breathing or closing your eyes to come inside and check in with the body. It's a beautiful pose for meditation. Now, if this arrangement feels very accessible for you, you may choose to try the pose without using a block. To do that, come forward onto hands and knees. The block to the side. Again, be very mindful not to create any pain in the knees. Knees come together, and I'll actually show this one facing away from the camera so that you can see it from behind. So I hope you can hear. So your knees are together, feet are wider apart. You can grab onto the flesh of the calf muscles and pull them out to the side. As you sit the hips down between the feet so that the sit bones are now resting on the floor. You can pull the flesh of the sit bones to the side. Draw the kneecap flesh forward. And hands can be in your lap or on your thighs. Some people even like to place the palms onto the palms of the feet. It's a very grounding way to practice this pose. Finding neutral spine, bringing the neck and head into alignment, sinking the tailbone down toward the earth as you extend the side chest high toward the sky through the crown of the head, and breathe here. One more variation I'd like to show you today. We'll use a block for this one. So coming into the pose as we did the first time, getting the calf flesh out of the way here. This time, lifting the chest, bringing the head back, the shoulders back, we'll walk the hands onto the floor. Notice this is a back bend, so lifting the chest high, and then lift the hips up and tuck the tailbone under, lowering the hips back down. This is Supta Virasana, so supine, lying on your back, hero pose. Depending on your flexibility, you might be feeling a big stretch in the calves and you may not want to come down this far. So depending on where you're at, perhaps lowering onto the forearms. Now if the knees start to splay out to the side, that's your body telling you not to go so far. So just be mindful of your body. And here, if it's comfortable, you can allow the neck to rest back. To come up, draw the chin toward the chest first. Place your palms onto the floor and lift up. Supta Virasana can also be done without the block, only if it's appropriate for your body. I'll just demonstrate it briefly here. Walking the hands back, tucking the tailbone under, and lying the back onto the floor. And some people really enjoy reaching the arms overhead and clasping the elbows with opposite arms. To come up, hands come to the feet, lifting the elbows onto the floor, drawing the body up, tucking the chin, coming all the way. So Virasana, hero pose, and Supta Virasana, reclined hero pose. Namaste.